Well, it's been a while since I've done, consecutive post-game Steeler vids. And, I'm going to talk about our win over the Vikings and on what is, as of now, V-Day +8. Because, we beat the Pew-Stinkland Deflatriots last week. And all right, so, it's like we went into this game without Jaylen Warren. But, despite that, the offense, they actually played quite well. I gotta say, Kenneth Gainwell, who was, basically a gadget player for Philly, on what was pretty much his first career, full-time start, as a running back. I mean, this guy had he had basically 100 yards on the ground on 19 carries and 2 touchdowns, which I believe are both career highs for him in a single game. I mean, the offensive line blocked better, both in the pass and run. And now, unfortunately, we saw late in the game, Calvin Austin had that shoulder injury, and I heard that he had to go to the hospital and had his arm in a sling. But with that said, this was all in all, this was easily our best game of the season so far, performance-wise, because Week 3 is our best for me personally. But yeah, the offense, clicked, and the defense got, 2 interceptions and sacked Wentz, I believe, 7 times. 7 times, and and going into this game, right? You see, I thought to myself, well, I think the Vikings are gonna win. But deep down, I got a feeling that we owe them for when they beat us across the pond in London many years ago in 2013. But now this time around, well, we play the Vikings across the pond, this time in Ireland, and we beat their ass. Now, granted, I know it got scary in the fourth quarter. But we dominated the Vikings on both sides of the ball for 3 quarters, until of course our coaching staff nearly fucked the game up. Hence why the title of this video says, "Great team win, but ugly coaching win." So it was a great win and an ugly win at the same time. But you see, it kind of goes back to last week when we got conservative after going up 14-0 when we was whooping New England's ass up and down the field on both sides of the ball throughout the first quarter and early second quarter. This game, for the most part, we whooped the Vikings' ass for 3 quarters and then let up in the fourth quarter until we eventually sealed it finally. But yeah, so we go 3-1, into our bye week, and you might as well say that we're 4-1, right? We're 4-1. Why do I say that? Well, because we got the Browns in Pittsburgh in 2 weeks from now, and I think you all know our history of playing the Browns at home. I mean, historically, since 1970, we have beaten the Browns at home damn near 90% of the time. I think we're 48-7 against them in Pittsburgh, and that span, and I expect us to beat them in Pittsburgh, yet again. So not only do we, as of this recording, sit atop of the AFC North alone, but now you got Baltimore, who not only got destroyed by Kansas City and got sent to 1-3 in the basement with Cleveland, but they got a shit ton of injuries, Baltimore. I think they have like 6 or 7 starters on defense hurt, and of course Lamar hurt his hamstring. And depending on how bad that is, it's like when you consider that, along with the fact that the Bengals lost Burrow for basically the whole regular season. Like if you consider all that, now I don't want to speak too soon, but the way things are going, with how we were able to put up our best offensive performance against a Vikings team that was coming into this game, kind of hot, right? Like, if we could put up our best game of the year, especially on offense so far, without Jaylen Warren, the way things are going, it's like, are we really about to win the AFC North by default? Again, I don't want to speak too soon, but the way things are going, it just might be possible. Granted, we've collapsed in December 5 out of the last 7 seasons, but you get my point. DK Metcalf had a hell of a game with that 80-yard touchdown that you see playing right here. And as I said, Kenneth Gainwell had a hell of a game, and you got T.J. Watt who Hayward tipped it and then eventually juggled right into Watt's hands for what was our second interception of the game. And of course, that one right there was the first. But yeah, like I gotta say, I was very surprised with how he dominated the Vikings for the first 3 quarters until we got conservative thanks to dumbass coaching. But now I do want to now of course, with how things went towards the end, I gotta address what happened with when we took the delay game and all that. So like, look, like, why? I mean, it's like the clock management by Dumlin, wasting these timeouts, and then we run onto the field. We're about to do a QB sneak, but yet we don't even attempt it. I mean, we take the delay game, and then we punt the ball way out of the end zone for a touchback. Not even trying to pin the Vikings deep in their own end. I mean, what the actual ever-living fuck was that? I mean, seriously. And not to mention that blown coverage where Peyton Wilson had to make the tackle just before the receiver, just before whoever it was. I forget if it was Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison, whichever one it was. Peyton Wilson had to run him down just before he got into the end zone, forcing the Vikings to kill some time. But yeah, like, I mean, it's like, this was one of the, like, that fourth quarter, especially towards the end. That was like one of the worst series of coaching I have ever seen. Just the pure buffoonery by Tomlin, with how he almost threw that game through a great team win away. I mean, seriously, that alone is a fireable offense, as if losing to a 2-10 team in back-to-back home games 2 years ago wasn't enough of a fireable offense. And yet Dumlin commits another one with his disastrous buffoonery late in the fourth quarter alone. And now, for as great as the front seven, was in this game, like what is with all of these injuries that we keep suffering in the secondary, right? I mean, it's like, in the injuries in general, but it's like, but we're especially seeing them in the secondary. Like, what is with all these injuries? Like, our conditioning coaches and medical staff all needs to be fired for this shit. I mean, it's like, how much more of these injuries are going to keep fucking happening? I mean, the only team that has a worse conditioning coach, has a worse conditional and medical coaching staff is probably the 49ers, right? But other than that, other than them, our medical staff is easily the worst. I mean, it's like, because we originally had Warren expected to play, only to have him inactive at the last minute, right? And it's like, even though Scam Hayward continued to play, I even saw him get shaken up. And Ramsey, who faked a hamstring injury after that scoop and score that was, of course, called back, he goes from faking a hamstring injury to, of course, actually injuring his hamstring. Now, I don't know how severe it is, but with all these injuries that we're dealing with right now, good thing we got the bye week after this. And of course, good thing that our next opponent after the bye week is the Browns in Pittsburgh, which, as I said, is almost always a win for us. That doesn't mean it'll be an easy win, but one way or another, we will win that game. Because we always do. But with that being said, with what we got going right now, we have a golden chance to, because like if the Bengals lose to the Broncos on Monday Night Football, we got a golden chance to really extend our AFC North lead and make it look as if we can possibly run away with the division. But again, can't entirely count on that, knowing this team. But anyways, that'll pretty much do it for this video. 3-1 going into our bye week. First in the division as of this recording. I'm out.